Today I'm going to be building the Knight Armiger from the Forgebane box set. However, this demonstration is going to serve exactly the same purpose if it's the Knight Armiger Helverin, which will be available from next week. I'm going to go through the build in some detail. I'm going to go through how I do everything and the sub-assemblies that I use. I'm doing this for modelers who are not amazingly confident in building this, so they know exactly what to do. If you're after just a quick build and review, this is not the right video for you. The tools I'll be using are a pair of clippers, a craft knife. This is to remove mould lines. You can use a mould line removal tool. I'm going to be very careful with this craft knife. If you're doing this with a child, then be the one that is using the craft knife, not them, because this is going to be removing lots of little mould lines on the pieces to make sure they all go together smoothly and to make sure it looks good. I'll be sticking it together almost entirely using Tamiya cement. This is Tamiya thin cement. It's got a brush applicator like so that I'll be using to apply the glue. I've got some super glue for putting rocks on the bases, and I'll be using sub-assemblies, which is where you don't assemble and stick together the whole model. So the armour plates will be separate, the arms will be separate, the head will be separate, and this top carapace piece will be separate. You can also leave the legs and the body separate to paint them separately. I'll be painting it in two stages. One will be the skeleton, which is everything except the armour plates, and the other one will be the armour plates. Because you can spray the skeleton silver and you can spray the armour plates the colour you want them to be, and it saves loads of time. I've got the instructions here. I will be building it as per the instructions, it's just I'll be demonstrating it to you. So I'm going to start with putting together the legs. So I'm going to come back in a second with all the leg pieces removed from the sprue, which is basically this sprue. With the feet from this sprue. There's a couple of little bits in the corners of this sprue which you've got to separate and get together right. That's again something that people sometimes get wrong. So I'm going to take all these bits off and I'll come back to you with those pieces cleaned and assembled. When you're separating pieces from the sprue, certainly you'll get things like this. So this is going on the legs assembly from this sprue. When you're cutting it out, hold this bit and cut like so. And you're doing that to avoid this pipe snapping. So hold the pipe, cut it free from the sprue. And then using this to vary, and I know I'm cutting towards me, you could do this. Given that you've got a cutting mat, to remove that. So one smooth action and that's removed. So I'm going to separate all the pieces for the leg assembly and I'll come back with that done. I've now cleaned all the pieces for the legs. I'm going to start putting them together. So I've got the Tamiya clear cement. Multiple stages of this require you to put something together and then glue something else to it. So I'm actually going to start with the waist joint. Like so. Press it in quite hard. Then I'm going to start with one of the legs. As you can see, I'm only contacting the pieces that will stick the model together. And then that guy goes together, like so. And there is a small groove here. That is what this goes in. Then I'll do the same with the other leg. Again, when you're applying the glue, get most of the glue off the brush, because otherwise you will just flood it. And what will happen is, because this glue works by melting the plastic, you'll end up melting a good chunk of your model. So don't go crazy with the glue. Do what I'm doing and get rid of some of the stuff on the brush. So already you can see it's starting to reduce the number of things that need to be stuck together. These pieces go on the side like so, and go into this pipe, goes into this hole here. See? So that means you put a bit of glue on here, you put a bit of glue on the end of the pipe, you put a bit of glue on there, and then this slots into here and the pipe goes in the hole. So we're now going to do the one for the other side. And then that's built up the hip joint, and you've got the two pipes for below. These small and delicate and easily losable pieces are two of only three pieces that I might recommend using tweezers for. You've got to make sure you get the right ones. You've got to make sure you trim any mould lines off, and basically it's where they separate from the sprue. And the larger piece has two places where it contacts the sprue, and that can make it a bit of a pain. So now the legs are ready to pose. So it's how you want to do them. There's two possible positions, because you can see this cross here and you can see the cross on the legs. So you can either have that leg there or that leg there, because it's where you put those crosses that makes the difference. So each leg has one position, either going forward or going back, and you just pick which leg position you want to use, like so. And then when you're gluing them in, good bit of glue in there, turn and it'll slot into place. Another good bit of glue in there, and bang, that'll slide into place. And then you see how the feet line up. So there's only one way of putting the feet on. Again, side, side, front. So each side the groove on the back, each side the groove on the back, and then you can put that on top of the base to make sure that he fits. The next thing to do is the fiddliest part of the leg assembly, and it's getting these in. So you see here, that's where this small piece goes, and you see here, this groove here, that's where the larger piece goes. So there's two ways of doing it. Either you put the glue on the small piece or you put the glue on the large piece. I'm going to put it on the small piece because while it is more fiddly, it's less likely to damage any other part of the leg assembly. So you get the long piece in first and then you push the small piece in. So the long one goes in first and then you dock in with the smaller one. It's wider but it is smaller. So then let's do the other one. This one is a bit trickier because the leg is slightly back. So you're going to have to use something to push that in, because you've got to get it going like this, and there you go. See? So you've got these pistons in, you've got the legs assembled. The work of 5-6 minutes to get the legs put together. You can glue this to the base now, or you can wait, because I'll be spraying this silver because it makes it so much easier to paint. I am not going to stick it down to the base. What I am going to do later is work out what I want to put on the base and use the feet to establish what clear areas I need to have. So I'll be back in a second to assemble the body. Just remember there's one last piece that goes on here. So, and this armour plate that's getting put to one side for spraying separately. So a little bit of glue, and on this guy goes. So that's now totally complete. You got the peg for the body to sit on, you got the feet, everything is together. With the legs built, we're going to start working on the body now. Again, there's a series of pieces that can just get stuck together as one step at the beginning. So things like the pipes, which we'll be joining onto the body later. Fortunately with these kits, if you do try and put it in the wrong way, it won't fit. As you can see, there's a little hole at the top for it to join up with. Sort of react a bit on the back. Like so. So, suddenly 3 less pieces to assemble. What we then want to do is find, so this has this here and this here. So that goes together like that, then slots it. So, bit there, bit there, bit there, and a bit there. And slot it in. That goes into there, and that goes right to there. And there we go. First piece in. Same thing on the other side. That goes into there, and it just flips round. So, with that done, we take this piece that we've just assembled, and you can see here the line that it's going to follow. So, a bit of glue, and we follow that line around. And then this, you might need to have a bit of a push. Bang, that's in, like so. And then you'll just be able to see that this will just slot in, like so. So I'm not going to glue this because I want to be able to take this off and spray it and paint it separately. because it's an armour piece, so it's going to be part of the armour sub-assembly. So we take this off, we've got the hood here. And this guy slots into here. And then these go on either side. So, bit here, and in that goes. And then on the other side, bit here, and in that goes. So, we've got an armour plate that we put on the armour plate pile. That's the body done. So, fits on there quite effortlessly. And the next thing is going to be the arms and the weapons. So I'll be back with those cleaned up in a minute. I'm now ready to complete most of the rest of the assembly, consisting of the weapons and the head. So, there's two arm joints which you assemble without gluing these pieces in to allow you to move them. I've cleaned all the flash off. Let's fit that. So yeah, what you want to do is have them like this. So you've got this little bit on the outside with both of them, and with both of them the top part is the straight, the bottom part is the diagonal. So you put a bit of glue on here, pop this bit here, hold it, pop this bit on top, push that in, get a join, push it hard, because this is the bit that locks into the body. So you want that to be fairly coherent but still able to move. With all of these pieces you're going to need to be quite careful with how much glue you apply and where you apply it to, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 joints that articulate if you glue it correctly. So again, this piece on the outside, and like so. So that's those two joints. We're going to cut down the number of pieces knocking around by assembling the back of the head. Like so, dry fit. And together. So this gun we're going to dry fit like so. However, test the dry fit with this piece in place, and that's how that goes together, and then you can articulate it in two planes. So that works. So next step, pop that back apart. You can see this bit, we're going to have to be very careful about how much glue gets applied to it. So basically all of the other bits can have almost as much glue as you like, but on these bits just a tiny amount, because then this slots into here and this slots on top. Push it hard while you rotate this, hold it quite tightly, And you have a fully articulating gun arm. This piece is a little more complex because what you want to do is you've got this. So you pop this in here, so you've got this pipe going in and out. What you then want to do is a good bit of glue on here. Very careful when you get to these bits. So you can see I'm not putting it close to where that pipe goes through, so that it is free to move. And then I pop this on top, hold tight, move this bit up and down. So, over the next bit, this is going to go here, like so, but this needs to have this in it. So, pop that there, that fits. Again, you can put plenty of glue on the bits at the bottom, remove all of the excess glue completely, and a little bit around these edges, but not too much. That then slots into here, and this slots into here. And then you rotate this while it dries. You're doing this to prevent any bonds building up, limiting your range of movement, because then again you can articulate it in 3 different directions. And that's the chain fist done. For the faceplate, I've picked one of the Adeptus Mechanicus faceplates. Goes on like that. Like so. And then for the final piece to assemble here, we've got the melter gun ammunition that you need to be able to get into here. I'm trying to put it in the wrong way up. That goes in like so. Very small amount of glue. And pop that in. That is all of the weapons in this head assembled. So, I've done the armour plates. Those have now been cleaned off. So we've got 2 leg plates, 2 shoulder pieces. We've got the crotch plate, and then we have the carapace. The carapace has the last piece that needs gluing in. Again, you might want to use tweezers for this. I'm just going to test it by popping that there, like so. That works. Very tiny dabs of glue at the end of this. Because after this, we're ready to undercoat. Like so. So that's all the armour done as well. The model is in a number of sub-assemblies. I can slot it together fairly easily. So you can see here the arms, which can slot in like that. You've got the carapace, which can slot in like that. You've got the top gun, which pops in like that. See? You've got the head, which can go in this hole here. And then you've got the body on here like this. So looking at that, that's how the sub-assemblies go together. It's fairly clear. if you want to remove the arms, put them straight, pop them out. I'm doing so for the purposes of undercoating them. I'm then going to undercoat them in 2 lots. One lot is going to be all the armour pieces, which, because this is going to be a House Raven Knight, I'm going to undercoat with Mecrite Red Spray. You can then also undercoat these pieces, the guns, the arms, the legs, the body, without the carapace plate, and the head, which are, I have that in the wrong way round, like so, which are going to be undercoated with silver spray. The last thing to do is take a look at the base with the legs on it and work out where you're going to put any rocks. So I'm going to grab some rocks and I'll be back in a second. I've got 2 armigers to paint, so I'm going to do both the bases at the same time. I've found some slate and I've got a couple of skulls from the Citadel Skull Sprue. One's some sort of alien beastie and one is a human skull. So if you look, I've still got some blank areas, but this is going to get filled in with Games Workshop Martian Iron Earth texture paint, because this is going to be a Mechanicus force and go with my existing Adeptus Mechanicus. So I am very simply putting together thematically something that matches what I've already got. So 2 rocks here with a skull against it. Take this off, a larger piece of bedrock poking through the earth over here. And it's that simple. It's not something I'm putting together that's incredibly complicated. It's a starter point for more detailed base work to come. So some Martian Iron Earth with possibly, yep, and there we go. 2 bases done, matter of seconds, because I've got a big bag of slate and I've got the Citadel Skulls box. So that's been my tutorial for assembling the Armiger Warglaive. The assembly for the Helverin autocannon Warglaive will be fairly similar. It's literally just going to be the guns that are different. You'll have different shaped armour plates as well, because these are from the gun sprue. This will be exactly the same, that'll be exactly the same. So all you're going to need to do is work out how you want to pose them, how you want to base them. They're not that flexible in terms of posing, though you've got 2 different leg positions. This body can be a variety of places. I'm leaving it separate for painting so that I can easily get to some of the detail down around here and make it look nice. Again, for the exact same reason is why I'm leaving maximum posability on the weapon arms, so that I can pose them. You can use the stubbers. These are tank hunters, so using the melter gun seems very logical, because it's another chance to put a bunch of wounds on vehicles. If you end up going up against things like Terminators, then it gives you a good chance of nailing them and then charging in and choppy with this. So, did I enjoy building the kit? It's a really solid kit, it's really nice. Now that we know that it's £45 for 2 of them, for something that is as tall as the Redemptor Dreadnought, it is well worth it. They are cheap in points in the Codex. They absolutely make a great complement for Knight forces and for an awful lot of other Imperial forces. I'm probably going to use these with my Mechanicus most of all, to substitute for Dune Crawlers, of which I've only got the one. Really like the kit, really nice, goes together well. I think it is really worth it for Imperial forces, especially Knights or especially Adeptus Mechanicus, though they do add a certain amount of punch to guard a certain amount of punch to Primaris Space Marines, which are generally lacking in anti-tank options, where a couple of these would go down really well. But yeah, kit's well worth it. I recommend it. It's fairly easy to build. The thing that takes the most time is taking all of the mould lines off, basically. If you've liked this video, hit like or subscribe, preferably both. Otherwise, good gaming, and I'll see you in the painting video.